Welcome to the story of immortality. You're about to enter a magical world. We invite you to savor the feeling of peace, love, and wisdom as it opens your eyes to your true self, to reality itself. The sessions are designed to uplift you as you access the subtle, eternal spiritual universe that moves within this physical world. To take maximum benefit from this series, we recommend the following important tips. Sit in a quiet place where you can be alone for an hour. We ask you to take this time out and be with yourself with no distractions. Sit with your spine straight, either in a comfortable chair or on the floor. This will ensure that the energy flowing in your body will support what you're hearing. Keep your phones in silent mode and away from you in another room for the whole hour. We encourage you to keep your camera on. Our experience has taught us that other participants will be inspired to see you. We will record these sessions. Only the speakers and not the participants will be recorded. 5 languages are available for translation. To select a language, click on the interpretation button, and then you can opt for Hindi, Spanish, French, Telugu, or Tamil by clicking on one of them. This is our registration link. It is not mandatory, but if you would like to receive the recordings and other information, then do register.
Om Shanti. Welcome to the story of immortality presented by Brahma Kumaris. So today is episode 4, the Supreme Soul. Om Shanti.
This program, The Story of Immortality, will enlighten you through insights, visuals, and meditations. We will begin soon with 15 minutes of sharing with a senior teacher. Then Sister Shireen or Sister Dorothy will make a 30-minute presentation, interspaced with 2 meditations that unwrap the book. Lastly, we will address questions from participants for 10 minutes.
Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to be here with you and sharing this Sunday morning. And so first, we are going to hear from our senior teacher for today. Her name is Moira, Sister Moira. So Brahma Kumari Sister Moira has been practicing the teachings of the story of immortality for more than 30 years. She is based in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. She is our envoy there. So welcome, Moira.
Thank you, Shireen, and good morning. My pleasure to be with you.
So it's so wonderful. It's, you know, the best part of Zoom is I can see you like this, which before we wouldn't do that. Anyway, so I have a question for you, which I'm always very curious, and I feel everyone is really enjoying this aspect of sharing from your own personal experience. So tell me the first time you had an experience of God, the Supreme.
Thank you for that lovely question. when I was 24, I left Argentina for a long, long journey around the world that lasted nearly 2 years. And I was searching for the
You
true
were
meaning.
backpacking?
I was backpacking. I was searching for the true meaning of life, love. And as I was touring India, I was very tired. My mind was very, very tired. I had so many questions, no answers. And so I asked someone in a city in India, where could I rest my mind? And they said, well, if you want to rest your mind, you go to Mount Abu. And so I went there, and I didn't know anything about the Brahma Kumaris. I went to the Dilwara temple, and I met a group of young, then I came to know students. There were young people from around the world. I saw them so happy, so lively. So I asked them, who are you? And they said, we are yogis. We practice meditation. And I thought, wow, I'm sure this is going to do a lot of good to my mind that is so restless. I was so tired of traveling. And so they invited me, and they said, this is all for free. That made a lot of sense, because for me, anything connected to God would have to be for free for everyone. And so they invited me to their what I then came to know was the headquarters of the Brahma Kumaris in a beautiful site called Mount Abu in the northwest of India. And there I was offered to take a meditation course. And as I took my first 2-3 lessons, I noticed, and I took the lesson of who I am, and also I took other lessons, and I realized that I was no longer alone. This was a very, very profound and significant turning point in my life. I felt that I was no longer, because this was my feeling along the journey. I have so many questions, no one to answer them. And I felt so lonely. I really felt lonely. And it's not that I wanted someone to be with me, but I wanted someone to understand what I wanted to ask. Right. So this was something very, very deep. And I realized that because I was seeking love, I felt that warmth in my heart. And as I progressed in my lessons, which is this book is all about, I realized that God had secretly won my heart. And I was brought up as a Catholic, a Christian, and I believed in God, but I never had that experience of His presence in my life. And then I realized that, with time, as I progressed, I realized that was my place. This is called Madhuban, the headquarters of the Brahma Kumaris. These were my people, but I realized that all I wanted was to go into a deeper and deeper understanding of who I am and how to relate to God. And this was the gift, I think, to realize that I could move from just believing in God to the understanding that I could have a relationship with God. And although I always believed him to be my father, I discovered he was also my mother, my very loving, sweet, celestial mother, and also my teacher. And as I moved on on my spiritual path, his teachings became like so central to my life that I would be able to live a life based on very high principles that would guide me and allow me to take decisions that I would be very happy with and benefit myself, but also others around me. Then I also realized in this game of relationship that he is my guide. And this is a very strong connection that I feel I have with him. And understanding that although God is the invisible, supreme being, a being of light that is not does not have a body of his own, but with our understanding, we can connect and have this relationship and feel the presence. And I think this is such a gift in this awareness that I'm no longer alone. I feel him so close and so present. So I felt that something that awoke in this game of relationship is a deep feeling of belonging. I feel that I belong to him, but I also feel that he belongs to me. It's such a wonder. I never thought, that I would have like this right, to expect from him, to count on him, as I would with a physical dad. But
Right.
but the relationship with my physical dad was different, very different. And just something that I would like to share, as I mentioned, my dad, something that has to do with belonging and relationship at the time of COVID. My father, physical father, passed away a few weeks ago as a COVID patient. And I just want to tell you what an amazing experience I had of this soul leaving us, leaving his body, leaving the family, moving on to his next destination. But what I went through because of making the relationship with God, my Father, so strong in my life, I realized that I had no pain. I didn't have the feeling of loss. I had no sorrow at the time of this wonderful soul who was my dad's departure. And this, I think, is such a gift of this time in which we can all experience this very, very strong presence and relationship that allows us to be in a family, to take part of things, to be, to play a part, but without that feeling of dependency, without feeling that, we are tied together. So this was a gift of having God as my father. I would not, I feel that everything that I need is coming from the source, him as the source of everything I need, everything. And I must confess that I think that I'm a very spoiled child.
Right.
Anything I want, he will definitely provide in many ways.
I can't. I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. I know you're sharing that you're fine and everything, but it's still a loss. So, and especially to COVID, it just seems like so unnecessary, but such is life. um, and I have a question for you. So you had a really strong relationship with your dad, with your parents, I'm guessing, before you started on this journey. And so what experience of this relationship with the Supreme Soul made you change your life?
Well, I must tell you, I come from a very lovely home, and my parents were very generous, very kind. My father was not a religious person at all, but he was a very caring dad. And I remember wonderful moments of my childhood and, as a youth. But what I experienced with God is that he really knows me. He the way he relates to me as a child, he holds the highest vision of me, and his love is unconditional, and his um, he is a source that I can draw from. I realized that I had many times expectations from my parents, and then when I was kind of more conscious, I realized that I started going back to their childhood. How were they educated? What did they receive? Why do they do the things they do? I mean, they were lovely parents, but definitely not perfect. And so I realized that whatever I needed, I can get from God. His love is a love that liberates me, that nourishes every part of me, and that allows me to be at my highest potential. His vision of me is not conditioned by any wrong behavior or any defect or weakness that I have. His vision of me and his children is beyond that. He sees us, he sees our value, he sees our eternal being as a being of virtue as a being, as a beautiful soul, and he loves that no matter what. So I feel that my connect, and also the I feel that an heir to his power, to his virtues, and this gives me a feeling of rights. You know, whatever I wanted, whatever I was seeking and searching, I could not expect from my parents. I could only just accept that they did the best they could and they were seeking themselves. But I could expect everything from God, everything. Right. What were my needs suddenly became my rights.
Right.
So if I need
Right.
peace is my right. And if I needed love, love is my right. And who else can provide me that but the source himself, the generator of that power?
You know, when you're talking, I'm reminded of something someone a few years back told me, is that we always make the mistake of making our parents into God, right? We expect this perfection from them, and then God into our parents. So we interchange, like, okay, if my dad or my mom had these defects or these shortcomings, then God also would have these shortcomings. And so we interchange those things. And so thank you for bringing that up. So one last question. What was your experience that made you surrender and live in a center and just completely turn your life around? Was there any one experience that made you do it?
Well, when I came across the Brahma Kumaris in Madhuban at the headquarters, by that time I was very young, but I found no meaning in anything else. I didn't want anything from the world. I had studied, I had worked, but I realized there was nothing that I would give my life to. But when I came to the Brahma Kumaris, and I realized that this is a time of transition, and that this is a time of deep transformation that requires deep understanding, and the whole world is in need. It's as if I realized that all I wanted to do was to share with people what I myself was learning, but that I should also practice. And, you know, we can only help or offer what we have. So I realized I was on a path of learning and transforming and deep change within myself. But there was nothing else that interested me but allowing others to be able to awaken and to experiment the best of who they are, and to be able to make a life. I think that the gift of spirituality is that we recover our freedom. So we make choices that really make our life so significant. So for me, a life of service was the only thing that I was interested in. And then before that, I used to tell myself, I'm making time, you know, like losing time, just traveling around the world. But then when I came to know what time this is, I realized there wasn't enough time to do everything that I had to do. So I can't think of anything else in the world that I could be doing other than helping, you know, changing myself, which I have a way to go, but also helping others who are really eager to understand and to give steps towards their higher self and higher purpose.
Thank you so much, Moira. I was thinking when you were sharing that that you can't think of a better way. And I was thinking, I'm so glad you thought that way, because now we have you as a gift. We have, you know, not only God, but we all are enjoying your gift of transformation. And so thank you so much for making those decisions. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing with us. And we will possibly invite you again soon.
Thank you, Shireen. I love this initiative. I love this book. I really love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So now we will have Sister Dorothy. She is going to be our presenter today. There is Sister Dorothy.
It's so good to be back with you all and to hear more of your story. And I was thinking, today is a significant day because it's July the 4th. And what does that mean? It means it's Independence Day, but we celebrate it very superficially with fireworks and flags and parties and barbecues. But I really, really feel that this knowledge that is being shared with you is knowledge to give you total independence, independence from sorrow, independence from worry, and just a liberation for the soul. So we'll start with our presentation. I know that some of these things that you're hearing may feel like your head is exploding because they're new and they're unique concepts. And that's natural that you should feel that way. But keeping your mind open, but also your heart open, is the first rule for learning anything. If mankind didn't keep his mind open, we wouldn't be flying airplanes or going in submarines. We wouldn't even have telephones, and forget Wi-Fi. What would we do without even Wi-Fi? And all of this happened because of souls, people keeping their minds open and their heart open to learning. And learning is the inspiration of life. And so this course that's given is a journey in learning. So what we'll be doing is exploring, experiencing, and being. And I always tell students, listen, just don't accept anything you hear here blind faithfully. No, I'm telling you not to just accept, but to think about these things deeply and discriminate what is right for you and to make sense of it. Because this is the last frontier, this frontier of going inward. And I know that we circled the moon, then we landed on the moon, and then there's Mars, and there will be other planets, and mankind is searching outward and searching outward. But real true progress comes from self-mastery, going inside and mastering yourself, just as Sister Mora's experience of her father leaving the body. And of course, she had such love for him, and we felt the love in her heart for her dad. And she called him Dad, but there was no sorrow. No sorrow. This is the essence of these teachings. So to be able to understand life and know God, knowing God as he is, and what he does. And it's a historical time in humanity. Why a historical time? Because God has come. Why has he come? Well, I think that all of you could probably answer that question very rightfully. We know that it's a time of most need. We look around at the world, and what do we see? Sorrow, pain, and misery in so many lives. And so it's a time when he comes. He comes in the confusing world of darkness, the darkness that has seized us all, seized the whole world. Everything is seized by this thinking, this convoluted thinking, and no one knows what is right. Things that are right, people think are wrong, and things that are wrong, people think are right. So he has come to rescue us, and not only rescue us, but to transform us. So God cannot be seen with these eyes. He can only be understood through the heart. And so just as we experience each other, we meet souls every day and we talk with them, but it's the experience that we receive through the heart that we experience. In other words, the vibrations we experience. We meet new people every day, and sometimes something clicks and we really like that one. Or we fall in love instantly. I don't know if that ever happened to you, but it happens to many. And so this experience of even God being understood through his vibrations. But how do we understand his vibrations? Well, we have to firstly be able to connect with him. So please turn the slides when the bell goes. So the Supreme Soul says that he enters the world to find all of us special souls. That's his role, to find us and also to educate us. And so he has three main roles: God as the source of all goodness. And the three main roles that we're going to go over today are the teacher, the parent or mother and father, and also we'll touch on the purifier. So just as a parent would sit with his children and teach them lovingly, so the Supreme Soul, the Father of all souls, being the Father, the teacher, would also do the same. Just as a physical parent cannot wave a magic wand to make his children behave, or to teach them right from wrong, or to even teach them a language, there has to be that sit down teaching to be able to accomplish that. So the Supreme Soul, God, the Father of all souls, comes as the teacher to re-educate us. And I use this word very judiciously, to re-educate us, because we have so much miseducation that we've been taking on. We have so many habits and sand scars within us that is not useful and even harmful. And so there was a time we were perfect. And as time moved on, we see what happened to us. We became miserable. We became filled with pain, filled with sorrow, and confused. And so God comes at this time to restore us, to bring us back, to bring our inner beauty back. And not only our inner beauty back, but just the beautiful relationships that will be drawn to us and the beautiful situations that will be drawn to us. Because you see, we might say that we have some bugs or viruses in our downloads. So as the teacher, he will be continually downloading this perfection in us, teaching us new thinking, teaching us new analyzing, a new way to act, and just a new way of being. I find this next slide is very important. So I want you to look at it, write it down, take a picture of it, make an indelible imprint there in your mind. When you rewrite the software of your mind, what does that mean? Everything we see, everything we hear, everything we're exposed to is going into the soul, going into the soul, making an impression. And so we have all of these things. Sometimes we listen to the news and there's such negative things. Sometimes we watch movies and there may be unpleasant things in that as well. So when we rewrite the software of your mind, you change the printout of your life. So I'm going to ask you, what kind of printout of your life do you want? Are you happy with everything in your life right now? Are you happy with all the situations? Are you grandly happy with every relationship in your life? So think about that. What is the printout of your life? You see, we have many memories in our memory banks. And some of those memories are painful. Some of them are emotional. Some of them are filled with sorrow, just memories that bring us sorrow. So we want to clear out all those negative memories, negative hurts and pains that we have collected in the soul. We can call those viruses, but not just regular viruses. Let's call them spiritual viruses. And we're all pretty aware of what a virus can do. Sometimes these viruses get out of hand. And so God comes, the Supreme Soul, your Father comes at this time to eliminate all of those viruses. And he does that by purifying the soul and downloading, yes, downloading this purest energy into the soul, this purest energy that is just going to renew the soul. So we're going to have a meditation now. But before we have the meditation, I want you to look at this picture on the screen. And you see a light bulb with a filament. And as we look at that, we know that the light actually comes from the filament of the bulb. But do you ever see the filament? No, not at all. Many times we don't even see the globe of the light. We might see a lampshade. And so in the same way, we will see that that is our story. We, the soul. I am a soul, and I am wearing the body. I am wearing the globe, the light shade, you might say. And so this is very important, in particular in our next meditation, to ground us and remember who we really are and who we'll be meditating. It's not you, the whole body, but you, the soul. And so now we will have our meditation. So sit back comfortably, clearing your mind. This picture is a picture of you. See yourself in this picture. Yes, you, the soul, in the middle of the forehead. And even though you're in the middle of the forehead, take your mind upward to the Father of the soul. And with all your heart, with all your honesty and earnestness, connect with the one and the only one who is able to bring you immense benefit. Move upward, connecting with that one. And then inviting, yes, I use this word, inviting that one to come into your being. That energy of light, that energy of might. Fill me with your light. Fill me with your truth. Fill me with your presence. I really want to know you. I really want to understand you. And I want to become the best I can become. And I know I can only do that by connecting with the best and taking from the best source, the source of all goodness. And I feel light. I feel brilliance. I feel wonderful. The wonder of sitting quietly and connecting to the source of all goodness. For the next moment or two, just be with him. And feel that gratitude in your soul, that thankfulness. Om Shanti. I am peace. You are peace. Okay, now we will start again. And I hope you enjoy connecting with the Father of the soul as the teacher, but now the mother. And as the mother of your soul or spirit, you the soul, you the spirit, there is always that umbilical cord relationship, umbilical relationship that has always been and will always be. It's a unique relationship that a mother and a child have this absolute individual connection. And God's love as a mother heals your heart, heals the whole soul, transforming the feelings of the soul, of you, the soul. And this is very important, that the mother is the one who cuddles us and takes care of us and gives us special care. And so I like this word invocation, because it's through invocation that we awaken that eternal connection. And what do I mean by invocation? Invocation means I am proactive. I am the one who goes and opens myself up to the one. For example, when I go outside and I want to get some sun on my face, you see I'm pretty pale. And if I go outside, well, I won't get much sun unless I open myself and put my face directly into the rays of the sun. And so I'm invoking the sun in that way. I am making special effort. I am inviting. So holding on and clinging to the mother. This is what I want you to do, to begin to feel this immense warmth of the mother's nurturing qualities, a care that's unsurpassed, unconditional love. The powerful creator establishes a link between himself, and right now we're saying himself, but as the mother, in each soul, sowing the seeds of making every soul peaceful and happy. So this is an individual link that you have with the God of your understanding. And so think about that. That's just you and the Supreme Soul. Understanding is such an important part of life. And I want to share this little experience with you that I had with a friend. And she did something recently, and I couldn't understand why in the world she did this. And a whole month went by, and finally she said, I have to tell you why I did this. And I said to her after she told me, why didn't you tell me earlier? Now I understand. And because I understand, I accept. And so understanding, knowledge is very important in doing this course, not to take things blind faithfully, but to really understand, because not only understand with your head, but to accept it also from your heart, from the feelings that you have. So we have to be very, very authentic with our feelings. So again, invocation and being proactive. And so I'm going to show you now some delightful pictures. I hope you find them delightful. I know I did. And these pictures will show you how animals are invoking that relationship with their mother. Okay? Through invocation, we awaken that eternal connection. And so look at this. It's so beautiful. Think about the feelings in this picture. The feelings of the kitten going to the mother and asking for love, opening the self up to love. And here's another one. Again, the child going to the mother, opening the self, invoking the mother's attention, invoking the mother's attention. And this one is also so cute. I don't think I've ever seen a horsey do that, a colt do that. And the mother's just chumping away on the grass. But again, the child is clinging. So again, with those feelings of safety, those feelings of love. And the next picture, every time I see it, I just chuckle. I just can't stop laughing. He's so cute in such an awkward way. But I think you probably get the point. At least I hope you get the point that the mother relationship is so important in clinging. The next relationship is the father. When we feel small in a large world, it is the Father that takes our hand, gives us strength to walk through challenges with fearlessness, and he prepares me. And so the Father gives us strength. He's the one who takes care of the whole household. And he left his residence to rescue us, to take all of us, his children, into a state of silence, into a state of immense peace. Not just peace, but immense peace. He creates the new creation within the old creation. And just as when a child is getting a new tooth, the old tooth is sore and he can't chew on it and it hurts him. And that's because there's a new creation happening. So there are two energies that are happening in our world. There's the old energy and it's getting more old, more filled with sorrow, but there's also a new energy too. And that new energy is an awakening within our own consciousness, our own being. He gives us spiritual birth through transformation of consciousness. We now realize that we're not that face that we see, but that we're the soul behind the face, the soul looking through the eyes. I am a soul. I have a body. Not I have a soul. No, none of us have a soul. That's right. You do not have a soul. You are the soul. And so we must remember in our meditation that it's the soul that is meditating. And the Father, as the purifier, works through silence, truth, and purity. And we let those vibrations of truth and purity come into the soul. And this is how he brings about transformation, not only in human beings, but in everything, even the animal kingdom, even the elements, all will return to a state of complete truth and order. And so through the next meditation, we will let his stream of pure energy cleanse you, the soul, rejuvenating you, molding you back into your pure gold. And now we will have our last meditation. You are a soul a point of light just as the one you see on the screen. And your Father, the Supreme Soul, is also that point of light. But he is radiating the purest divine energy. Drink that energy into you, the soul. Open your mind, open your head, and allow yourself, image yourself, imagine this energy pouring over you, covering your body, pouring into your soul. A stream of all goodness. Taking that into the self. Purifying the soul. The purer we become, the happier we become. The purer we become, there is no sorrow left. Yes, any sorrow we experience is because of impurity. So let's just take in those vibrations of the purest energy, divine energy. Only goodness enters you. Only purity. And it feels so good to awaken to your own beauty, your own purity. Drink the nectar from the Supreme Soul. Breathe it in, exhale it out, filling the self with the purest divinity. You, the soul, watching through the eyes. You, the soul, listening through the ears, connecting with the supreme energy, the supreme source. Drinking in God's energy. Om Shanti. Well, I hope you had a wonderful experience. And I'm sure some of you may have some questions. And so Sister Shireen is going to be monitoring your questions and giving them to me. And hopefully you'll have some questions, because I think questions are good. As I said, just don't accept everything you hear blind faithfully.
All right, Sister Dorothy, I have a question from yesterday. I have a question from yesterday that someone asked me. How long did it take you to attain soul consciousness, that level where you are doing your daily work, but still in that state?
Soul,
We didn't get to answer that question yesterday.
right, right. So you're putting it on me.
Yes, because I think no one better than you to answer this.
Well, so it's different for different people, and it's a process, an ongoing process. I don't always walk around 100% soul conscious, because the moment we can do that for 24 hours, we will have reached our perfection, and we will no longer be in this body. We will be angelic. And so it's different for each soul, and it's not how long you can stay in soul consciousness, but the transformation that happens to you while you are there.
All right. So I have another question. And the other question is so you're talking about the teacher, God as the teacher. Do we need, like, can someone just be on Zoom and learn from God as a teacher? Is that possible, you think?
Well, he's the teacher, so he gives us knowledge. And this knowledge shows us the pathway to connect to him. For example, we drive a car, it's our we put our pathway in the GPS, and the GPS directs us to the way to get to our destination. And so the knowledge is the method to get to the destination, how to connect with him, how to take from him. Yes, you can absolutely move into perfection by Zooming, by understanding.
Really? Okay. All right. So the next one is, do those who follow this path only get God's blessings, or those who do not follow this path also get God's blessings?
The Supreme Soul only gives out blessings. He's like the sun is always shining, isn't it? But, you know, if you're inside, you won't get the rays of the sun. Or if there's a cloud that comes in front of the sun, then there won't be any sun on the plants or the people who are under that cloud. So the cloud of our own negative thinking is what prevents us from getting the blessings from God. His perfect, pure energy is always radiating out to us, on us, in us. So there's always blessings there. It's again about what two words? Invocation is the important word. Invocation, inviting, and being proactive.
Fabulous. Here is another question. How can you positively share this knowledge that you learned from spirituality to others without giving them a lecture, without them feeling like you're giving them a lecture?
Being the knowledge. And I love that question, Shireen. It's just being the knowledge. You don't ever have to talk about anything but just be the essence of all goodness, be the essence of tolerance, be the essence of love and joy and happiness, and just spill over that energy, and others will be absorbing it in a very subtle way. And then perhaps they may want to come to you and say, as they did with Mora, or what Mora did, she said, "You people are so happy, right?"
So this one last question.
Okay.
Did you finish answering? I thought you did.
Yes, I did.
Okay. One last question. It's a heavy one.
Oh.
The Abrahamic religions, such as Christianity, say that God created Adam and Eve from dust, and when they disobeyed, the punishment was the suffering. Hence, the question is, why is the punishment so severe? There is a lot of suffering in the world, such as floods, etc. God as Father, his punishment, is it severe?
Well, it's that could be interpreted in many ways, but we know that sorrow happens from our own impurities that we've collected in the soul. You saw the picture of the soul when the girl was very beautiful and then she turned ugly. And now God comes to make our souls beautiful so that there is no sorrow. So the dust on the soul is what has caused the impurities. And we will go into that more later on, but we abandoned our own truth. And so we weren't expelled from this Garden of Eden. We kind of lost our way and lost our own soulfulness. We forgot we were souls. We thought we were.
God doesn't punish. It's our own impurities.
Absolutely.
Self-inflict the punishment.
Yeah, he can't punish.
Right. He's too brilliant to punish. He's too loving. He's too sweet. He's the mother. He's the father, the remover of sorrow, the bestower of happiness. Yes. Thank you so much. And so we do have a couple of questions we will answer next weekend. Next weekend, again, we will be taking up the lesson on the Supreme Soul. So do join us. And thank you all for being with us. And so we will close with a moment of silence.
Om Shanti. Thank you very much, Sister Shireen and Sister Dorothy. That was a wonderful session, and I'm sure you all enjoyed and received a lot. And we look forward to see you all again on Saturday. Next Saturday it will be episode 5. And just to let you all know, the recordings are available on our YouTube channel. This is the story of immortality. This is the link here. And any suggestion, anything you would like to share with us, please send us email soi@us.brahmakumaris.org. And to receive emails, reminder emails, or any event or YouTube links, please register tiny.cc SOI-PK. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. See you again next Saturday. Om Shanti.